Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Doreen here on Thursday morning, July 27th. Well, the heat that has been confined to the southwestern states over the past several days has expanded to the north and east. Certainly, the Central Plains had a very hot and humid day on Wednesday, and a lot of that high heat and humidity now has pushed into the mid-Atlantic region. High temperatures later today and again on Friday should climb well up into the 90s in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. Humidity is very high as well in the mid-Atlantic region this morning. We have some patchy fog around and dew points generally in the low to mid 70s, and that will be the story for the next couple of days. High heat and humidity in the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., probably the worst 2 days so far of the summer, and ultimately these could be the hottest couple of days, especially on Friday, the hottest day perhaps of the entire year. Places like Philadelphia, New York City, Boston. A little too early to say that for certain, of course, but it's something we'll note over the next several days, several weeks here. In addition to the heat and humidity, the overall active weather pattern is certainly continuing across the Great Lakes, Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. Michigan was rocked with strong to severe thunderstorms on Wednesday. That same system will reach the I-95 corridor later today into tonight, and there certainly can be some heavy showers, strong thunderstorms once again along that D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and Boston corridor later today into tonight. And a similar situation could redevelop on Saturday with the approach of an incoming cool front. Showers and thunderstorms certainly may accompany that frontal passage, which looks like it'll pass through the mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., overnight Saturday night, paving the way for big-time relief in the northeastern part of the nation for Sunday, Monday, and probably Tuesday as well. This is the look for the probability outlook by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center of severe weather throughout the day today into tonight. And you can see kind of a high risk here for the I-95 corridor region. D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, all the way up to Boston, really all the way up to southern part of Maine. There's a chance for strong to severe thunderstorms later today into early tonight. And the humidity levels are so high that the precipitable water is high, meaning any shower or thunderstorm later today, early tonight, can produce some heavy rainfall in this part of the nation. Also, a threat for some strong to severe thunderstorms in the western part of the Great Lakes. Now, let's push forward here a couple of days. Here we go into the day on Friday. Continuation of an active weather pattern across the upper part of the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, and that is associated with that frontal system that works its way here by Saturday into the mid-Atlantic region, and you can almost envision the frontal system lying right in this fashion right here, and it'll slowly drive through from northwest to southeast to mid-Atlantic region later Saturday night, and it can be accompanied by some strong thunderstorms, and we'll have to fine-tune that forecast over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. Once that front passes, and indeed it should pass through later Saturday night into early Sunday, big time relief for D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, all of the northeastern part of the nation for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Well, let's take a look at last night's 0Z run of the Canadian model. I think overall the Canadian model has a little better handle on situations compared to the GFS model for the next 3, 4, 5 days or so. So I wanted to kind of focus in on the Canadian model. This is a look at the 500 millibar heights as we begin the day here, the actual magnitudes, not the anomalies. Again, we continue to have very, very strong upper level ridge situated over the Four Corners region of the U.S. This is at the 500 millibar level. It's at the middle part of the atmosphere. This has been really sitting over this part of the nation over the last few weeks, producing some very hot weather. Arizona, California, all the way to Texas. And as you can see, the heights have risen kind of dramatically across the mid-Atlantic region, even into the northern tier of states. There's been higher heights compared to recent days and weeks, and that is indicative of the hotter and more humid air moving to the north and east associated with that building ridge aloft over much of the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic region. We'll move forward here. We'll see what happens here. Certainly, it continues to intensify in terms of those higher heights over the Mid-Atlantic region into the evening hours today. And then here we are on Friday. Friday may actually turn out to be the hottest day of these 2 days here. High heat and humidity today and tomorrow in the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. Tomorrow could turn out to be the hottest day of the two. D.C., even Philadelphia, New York City could climb certainly to the mid-90s and maybe even the upper 90s in some of those areas along that I-95 corridor. Very hot again tomorrow in Boston as well. Then we slide into the upcoming weekend and notice the retreat of these high heights here over the Mid-Atlantic region as we go later in the day on Saturday. Still very, very strong ridge sitting over the Four Corners region late Saturday, and it just continues to change across the Mid-Atlantic region, Northeast U.S., and that is the forecast map right here for midday on Sunday. That's following the strong cool front. It looks like it'll cross through the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S. Saturday night into early Sunday, paving the way for a lot of relief, big-time relief, a big drop in humidity and temperatures for the northeastern part of the nation, anchored by an upper-level trough over the southeastern part of Canada. Well, we can kind of clearly see how these heights, 500 millibar heights, correlate to the temperatures. Now we're looking at 850 millibar temperature anomalies just in the lower part of the atmosphere, not too far above the surface level, the ground level, a couple thousand feet off the ground. Higher temperatures compared to normal already exist this morning here along the I-95 corridor region, and much, much more humid than it has been over the past few days, which were humid in their own right. But this morning, dew points are well up in the 70s in many spots along that I-95 corridor. Relative to normal, the central and northern plains take the cake here with 15 to 20 degrees above normal as we begin the day on Thursday. Now, let's move forward here. Certainly, much above normal continues into the day on Friday here with the warmest conditions relative to normal across the central plains. But look at upstream here. Look at across the southern part of Canada as we begin the day on Friday. Cooler than normal conditions throughout southern part of Canada. That certainly bodes well for the northern part of the U.S., the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S., and we'll see that just drops to the south and east. Probably another hot day on Saturday, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, ahead of the incoming cool front. It's kind of the transition day, but the front is slow enough that it'll allow for the 90s most likely in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City on Saturday. And here we go into Saturday night, right here, Saturday evening forecast map. And then by the time we get to Sunday, the big time relief in this part of the nation, the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. This is the midday Sunday forecast map. Those really warm conditions kind of retreating back to the south and west as we get in the second half of the weekend. And this air mass kind of gets reinforced by the time we get to Monday, which is the last day of the month of July, and spectacular weather conditions across the Northeast, across the Mid-Atlantic region on Monday. May have high temperatures confined to 80 degrees or lower, places like New York City, Boston, as we end the month of July. Again, this is the Monday midday forecast map, and certainly that comfortable weather should last into Tuesday. This is midday Tuesday with the heat again pushed back to the south and west compared to the next couple of days, back to the central and southern plains for beautiful weather Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for the most part in terms of temperatures and humidity across the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast U.S., and much of the Great Lakes as well. Well, let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps from the operational run of the Canadian model, 0Z last night. We start off the day with some radar echoes already depicted here on this forecast map for the early part of Thursday. And that drives to the south and east. It is not going to be the type of event where everybody necessarily gets hit later today into tonight in the I-95 corridor region. This looks like this will be scattered to broken type of shower and thunderstorm activity. Having said that, any shower can produce some heavy rainfall. Any thunderstorm that does hit a particular region can be strong to severe with some strong, powerful wind gusts and certainly heavy rain and even hail possibility here. You can even see kind of a surface trough developing here in the lee of the Appalachian Mountains, and that tends to act as a kind of a convergence zone right in this region right here. A trough sometimes develops in this kind of a setup here just to the east of the Appalachian Mountains, and it tends to be a kind of a convergence area, and we'll see if indeed showers and thunderstorms start to form. They will go out another 6 hours or so. This is now 8 o'clock tonight, and there you go. Right along that trough, you have this kind of convergence zone right in this region right here, and that's where showers and thunderstorms indeed can form later this afternoon going into tonight. So be on the lookout for that along the I-95 corridor region. Then we get into the day on Friday. This is Friday morning, and remember yesterday we talked about these thickness lines right here. You have this 576,000 of 500 millibore thickness line way up across southern part of New York. This is suggestive of very, very warm air all the way up into the northern Mid-Atlantic and the northeast U.S. where you see thickness values that high. That is summertime heat, and indeed they'll be up in the 90s in much of the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., not only this afternoon, but tomorrow as well. And again, tomorrow could turn out to be the hottest day of these two in that I-95 corridor throughout much of the Mid-Atlantic region. Then we move forward here. It cannot rule out a late day shower or thunderstorm tomorrow, later Friday into Friday night in that I-95 corridor region. So be on the lookout for that as a possibility later tomorrow into tomorrow night, certainly later today into this evening. Then we get into the day on Saturday. Here's generally where that frontal system lies as of Saturday morning. And notice a strong high pressure system over southwestern part of Canada. And this is anchoring a very, very pleasant air mass throughout the southern part of Canada as we begin the upcoming weekend. Now, let's move forward here. Certainly, showers and thunderstorms, really any time of day, it looks like on Saturday in the Mid-Atlantic region. Probably focused on the PM hours as is typical this time of the year. But this is all associated with that incoming strong cool frontal system that ends up sliding off the coast by the time we get to Sunday morning. This is the Sunday morning forecast map, and here is that cool front moving in this direction. It should not stall out. It looks like it will push all the way through and therefore usher in some very, very pleasant air to the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., Great Lakes. By that I mean not only is there a drop in temperatures, but a big time noticeable drop in humidity as well, and that pleasant air mass remains all the way into the day on Monday. And take a look at the thickness lines now. This is 564 thickness, much, much lower than it will be tomorrow afternoon, for example. That's all indicative of cool air blasting into the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. Cool relative to normal. It'll be below normal Sunday, Monday, and probably Tuesday as well in this part of the nation. So a lot going on, not only high heat and humidity over the next couple of days in the northeastern part of the nation, but the overall active weather pattern continues with showers and thunderstorms a threat later today, and again on Saturday in that northeastern part of the nation. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.